Write the 4 stages of life cycle of silkworm and we are to explain it in short. Answer. Egg. This is the first stage in the life cycle of silkworm. A female silk moth after mating lays nearly 300 to 400 eggs on a mulberry leaf. You can see here that a silk moth is laying eggs which are very tiny. Another important point which we are to note is that moth secretes a sticky secretion on the eggs. Along with the eggs, it also secretes a solution which so that the eggs stick to the leaf, so that the eggs do not go hither and thither. They stick to it, the leaf, and do not fall off. In case of favorable temperature of 75 to 85 degree Fahrenheit, eggs hatch into larvae within 7 to 14 days. This is the first stage of laying of eggs by a female silk moth. Next stage is larva. This newly hatched larva is about 4 to 6 millimeter in length. You can see that from the eggs these larva come out. The larva is creamy white or yellowish white in color. They are having strong appetite, go on eating day and night. They eat mulberry leaves. Larva is the stage where growth takes place. It can also be called growth stage in the life cycle of silk moth. During this stage, larva molts 4 times, that is, it removes its skin, each after 5 to 6 days. Young silkworms can feed only tender mulberry leaves. However, during the growth phase, they can eat tougher mulberry leaves as well. When they become bigger and bigger, they may be eating tougher mulberry leaves. The stage of the larva between two successive molting is called instar. Normally 5 instars occur. The full grown larva now stops feeding. It after few days it does not eat anything. It now begins to secrete a clear sticky fluid out of its salivary glands, which is liquid, which turns into fine long solid silk into air. When this fluid comes into contact with air, it becomes long fiber. This fiber is wrapped around the body of the larva. The larva wraps this thread around itself in the form of by revolving its head in the shape of 8. And with this fiber, the caterpillar forms a cocoon. If this is the larva, it will go on rotating its head in the form of 8 and it will cover itself by a white or creamy color fiber, which is basically the silk. The cocoon serves a comfortable house for the protection of the caterpillar larva for further development. It is at this stage when the cocoon is formed. If it is this here, it is an important point. If the animal, that is the silkworm or the larva or the caterpillar, is allowed to survive after the spinning of cocoon and through the pupal phase of its life cycle, it releases an enzyme which makes a hole in the cocoon, so it can emerge as an adult moth. If we let the cocoon remain as it is, and it will automatically, a caterpillar will form the pupa, and from pupa the adult organs will develop, and in this stage the pupa will release an enzyme which will be destructive in nature. It will cause hole in the cocoon so that the adult moth may come out of the same. So it will break down the enzyme which is released by the pupa, will cause breakage in the fiber, which seriously reduces the value of the silk thread. To prevent this stage, to prevent this from happening, cocoons are boiled. The heat kills the silkworms and the water makes the cocoons easier to unravel. Unravel means we can easily remove the silk thread from the cocoon. Next stage is pupa. Pupa is the third stage in the life cycle of which is inactive stage. After final molt inside the cocoon, larva transforms into a brownish structure called pupa. It is for only for the understanding purpose that this picture has been shown. Otherwise, we may not have been able to look after the shape of pupa. Pupa does not eat and move. This is the pupa. It does not eat, does not move. But active metamorphosis. Active metamorphosis means rapid physical changes go on changing inside the cocoon. When pupa or chrysalis are about to undergo metamorphosis to adults, it releases an enzyme that creates a hold for their escape from the cocoon. Metamorphic changes of the pupa result in emerging moth. So, from the pupa, adult moth develops as different organs of the silk moth develop. When enzyme is released and there is becomes a hole in the cocoon, the adult moth comes out by tearing the cocoon. If we allow it to live, that is, if we do not boil the cocoon or do not keep it in the sun, or we do not provide steam to the cocoon, adult moth will come out. Soon after coming out from the cocoon, adult moth, that is male and female moth, mate. Afterward, silk moth lays eggs and die. Their life cycle is total life of a silk moth is very short. It is an interesting point to note. Male and female moths are flightless. They cannot fly. They lack functional mouthparts. The female has a larger abdomen, whereas the male has a much larger pair of antennae. The moths live a very brief life of 5 to 10 days, while males generally live longer than females. It is also interesting to note, it may be asked how much of silk we can get from the cocoon. We can get a raw silk approximately 300 meter to 900 meter from a cocoon. That is 1000 feet to 3000 feet approximately from one cocoon. About 2000 to 3000 cocoons are required to make 1 pound of silk. So you can estimate how much labor or skill or time is required if we want only 1 pound of silk. That is why it is only because of this reason, that is a lot of time, labor, skill is involved in rearing of silkworms. That is why the natural silk is very costly. Now we will do certain MCQs. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon is called reeling the silk. Next, they eat day and night. Who eats day and night? Caterpillars eat day and night. What they eat? They eat white mulberry leaf. They eat mulberry leaves. Their preferred food is white mulberry leaves. Silkworms secrete fiber which is made of protein, as already told. Cocoon is used for what purpose? Scouring the silk. Scouring means cleaning the silk. No, it is used for reeling the silk to obtain the silk. Which of the following does not yield wool? Yak gives wool? Yes. Goat gives wool? Yes. Camel gives wool? Yes. Woolly dog does not give wool. Llama and alpaca is found in South America. The fleece of sheep along with a thin layer of skin is removed from its body. This is the first step if we want to get wool from the sheep. This is called shearing. Scouring means cleaning. Reeling means to obtain silk from the silkworm. For obtaining silk, silkworms are reared and their cocoons are collected to get We want to get what? We want to get silk threads. We are not interested in getting silkworms. Silkworms will be of no purpose for us. So we are to get only silk thread. Mostly sheep are reared for getting wool in in China, Japan, and Europe. Sheep are reared not only for wool but also for their meat. It is only in India that mostly we rear the sheep for getting wool. So our answer is in India. In other places, their meat is also used in large quantity. Scientific name of mulberry is Morus alba. Now there are various terms. We are to find out which are the two terms related to silk production. First, we will find out what is the meaning of each of these terms. Sericulture is related to rearing of silkworms for production of silk. Floriculture means cultivation of flowers. Moriculture means cultivation of mulberry leaves. Silviculture is the art and science of managing of forests. So here we are to find out the terms related with silk production. So as you know that sericulture means rearing of silkworm, and the silkworms eat what they eat? They eat mulberry plants. So these two terms, sericulture and moriculture, are these two terms which are related with silk production. So our answer is moriculture and sericulture. Next, wool and silk fibers are obtained from animals. Wool is obtained from sheep, yak, etc. Whereas silk is obtained from silkworms. Both are animals. Though these are insects, ultimately both will be treated in the category of animals. Which part of the black sheep have wool? Mostly abdomen and back of the sheep have wool. Nowadays scouring is done by machines, mostly done by machines. Cleaning of dirty wool, fleece. Silk fibers are also known as you know that silk is obtained from silkworm. Silkworm is an insect. It is also treated as animal. So silk fibers are animal fibers. Next, a pile of dash is used for obtaining silk fibers. From what silk fiber we get? We get from cocoons. Silk fibers from cocoons are separated out and reeled into silk threads. The dash of the sheep along with a thin layer of skin is removed from its body. Fleece. Fleece also means hair. Small fluffy fibers called burrs are picked up from the hair. The female silk moth lays eggs from which larva comes out are called caterpillar, or they are also called silkworms, which are whitish or creamish in color. The dash called caterpillars eat day and night. The larvae called caterpillars eat day and night. Dash weave silk threads, weavers. Which country is the largest producer of wool? As you know that if we call silk, in case of silk it is China, in case of wool it is Australia. An international trademark for new and pure wool is wool mark. Wool mark is a wool industry certification mark used on pure wool products that meet the quality standards set by wool mark company. Silk is a natural animal fiber. Silk fibers come from the dash of silk moth, from the cocoon of silk moth. Sheep are herbivorous. They prefer grass and leaves. Sericulture of silkworms is a very old occupation. It is being practiced in India for a very long time. The fine hair provide the fibers for making wool. Larvae hatching from eggs of female silk moth are called pupa. No. Larvae is also called caterpillar or they are called silkworms. Pupa is the next stage from larva. This is wrong. False. The wool and cotton are staple fibers. First, we should know what are the staple fibers. Staple fiber means a natural fiber, that is raw cotton, wool, hemp, flax, that can be twisted to form yarn. So our answer is okay, true. Wool and cotton are staple fibers because that can be twisted to form yarn. The female silk moth lays one egg at a time. No, you have seen that if this is the wheel leaf, hundreds of eggs, 300 to 400 at a time, are given by the female silk moth. This is false. The silk fibers cannot be dyed in beautiful color. Wrong. These can be dyed in very beautiful colors as per our choice. The cotton thread and silk thread spun and woven in the same manner. Cotton threads, yarn, are made by combing cotton fibers of shorter length into a yarn and then twisting many fibers together to form a stronger yarn. Whereas the silk threads are made by twisting together long fibers of silk. So ultimately, in a broader perspective, if we see, they are woven in the same manner. Though the manner or the machines used for their spinning or wovening may be different. Ultimately, the broader process may be the same. So answer is correct, true. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.